An update from the MacVoices Live panel's Apple Vision Pro users. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by the MacVoices Slack. Discussions, questions, and answers, and a place to talk tech with your friends. The MacVoices Slack is available to all patrons of MacVoices. Sign up at patreon.com/MacVoices and join in. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we finally got MacVoices Live off the ground. This is the Tuesday night show, live show on YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. We'd love to have you join us in the chat room, like a number of our friends already are. You can come in there and present your questions, comments, thoughts on what we discuss, or just hang out and enjoy the entertainment, because if we're nothing else, we are entertaining. We were off last week due to a schedule conflict, but we're back now, so we're going to play a little bit of catch up with a number of different topics. Before we do that, though, I'm going to go around the room and let you know who's here, and then we'll take off. So it wouldn't be a Tuesday night if David Ginsburg wasn't in the top left of my screen. David, good to have you as always.
Good to be here, Chuck. And yes, we missed the show last week. I was missing it, and I'll tell you, this February for Chicago, the weather's been insane. It's like almost 60 degrees today. For February, it's just unheard of here. So I've been enjoying this weather. I don't wear short sleeves in the wintertime usually, so it's been good.
Good deal. Good deal. Eric Bolden is here with the Bluebird of Happiness on his shoulder. Eric, good to have you.
Great to be here. It was the bird count weekend, and bluebirds came out, and I saw one and got a picture. So, it's a win all around.
Seriously, would you say that it was the bird what weekend?
Bird count weekend.
What
Where they
is the
take
bird
3
count?
days and count birds and report them.
I know about this.
Really? Is this a thing? Okay.
Yeah. I think they do it like a couple times a year, but there's times when they get a whole pile of people to do it, and then they can figure out where all of the birds actually are, and if counts are up or down, or weird things are showing up in different spots.
And then there was a California one that my brother did in sort of like mid-January. So
yeah.
Okay, I learned something. We can sign off now because I've learned my thing for the night. So that's good. That's good. Marty Jencius is back with us. Marty, good to have you.
It's good to be back fighting a terrible head cold from some plane travel. But it's nice to know the birds have been counted.
Yeah. Yes, it's very, very good. Ben Roethig is here. I was going to introduce Jeff Gamet with a transition to that, and I thought, no, I better not, because that was just so Ben,
I don't get it.
We're going to you, Ben. Good to have you, as always. What's going on?
Good to be here. You can now transition to Jeff Gamet.
Oh, God, I'm afraid. Jeff, it's great to have you. How are you?
I'm well, and Chuck, it's great to get to see you again. I really have missed you. I've missed everyone, so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. I missed you guys too last week. It's just one of those things that happens. But did you count any birds, Jeff?
Yeah, and what it taught me is I need to start using my turn signal. Oh, wrong kind of bird.
Okay.
Done.
Yeah, well done. Mark Fuccio is with us. Mr. Fuccio. Well, we talked a little pre-show, but I'll let you tell the folks what your map is.
it's pretty much Central California northward rainfall map over the past 24 hours, which is a subset of what we've been receiving since Saturday. So, what time's out here?
Yeah, it's anybody that's been paying any attention to the news has been seeing some of the California weather, and it's just crazy what's going on. The mudslides and the floods and the water rescues. So, stay safe.
Yeah, that's true. And in some of the areas, there are people, homeless who set up tents and tent camps and on the riverbeds, and there's probably local news stories that don't make it national about homeless who've been flooded out, and in different cities going out to move and vacate. You're going to get flooded. You're at high risk.
Yeah.
Big rain always cause something new and interesting.
Jim Ray snuck in under the wire as we were doing the introductions. Jim, good to have you. We weren't sure you were going to make it.
Sorry about that. Just I was always going to make it. Just had another meeting before this, ran long.
Understood.
Jim, I know you're going through withdrawal, so this is for you. Underpants.
You can catch it in the replay, Jim. Well, I thought we'd start the evening out with maybe a little update especially from Marty and Eric, but anybody that wants to chime in that has had any Apple Vision Pro experiences, because that was our main topic the last time we got together. And since then, there's at least one software update that I know of. We've gone into the return. We went through the return period for the first orders. So I'm kind of curious to see what's new with you all with the Vision Pro. Marty, you want to kick us off?
Sure. I'm still loving it. Use it about 3 hours a day. Get through a battery and then move on to something else. I'm using it for work, mainly just kind of cruising emails and doing text and get distracted by some of the new apps and games that are out there. So I took it on a trip last week to Portland, from Cleveland essentially to Portland, and watched a 3D movie on the plane. And it is just incredible. I mean, you see that kind of jazzed up in some of Apple's ads. It's not jazzed up. It's exactly like that in terms of immersion. Used AirPods so I wouldn't disturb my neighbor. My neighbor, however, took out a charcuterie board worth of cut up food, including garlic. So while I was watching Defenders of the Universe 3, I got to smell garlic sausage, which didn't fit well in with the process. But essentially, I enjoyed it. Nobody bothered me at all. Nobody tapped on the shoulder. Nobody asked me any questions about it. Who knows? With the thing on, they might have all been laughing at me, but you don't know. So it doesn't really matter. Just had a really good experience with it. There's been a third update that occurred today. And just about 6 hours ago, and I can talk about that. Chuck, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you already said, that nobody bothered you on the plane. Did the flight crew, I guess, how did they interact with you, or did they just ignore you like they do if somebody's asleep or otherwise engaged?
They tapped me on the shoulder when he wanted to know if I wanted something. I could see them, but they tapped me on the shoulder. And I had a little moment of disorientation when I took it off, and I couldn't form words because I was immersed in the environment, but that could have just been me and not necessarily the headset. But yeah, flight crew they were cool with it. No issues with it. I didn't put it on until we reached computer altitude and took it off when it was time to technology away. So I kind of played by those rules. We did have the travel mode. It switched into travel mode when I was on the plane. I had to acknowledge that. And then I had no problems with the video that was associated with that during travel mode.
Hey, how long was your flight?
The flight was about 3 hours and 30 minutes, I think. And this is Chicago to Portland. I got a good 2 hours and 45 minutes, the full length of the movie, out of it. And I had 15% power left in the battery. So it worked really pretty well, much better than anticipated. I didn't do much but watch the film with it.
Did you get any other passengers ask you about it, other people on the plane?
No, not really. And I didn't see anybody else with one of the headsets either. Not that that was my goal to be the only nerd on the plane, but there, nobody else seemed to be using the technology at that time. No other passengers asked me about it. I didn't use the Marshmallow to travel with it. I bought a cheaper $30 hard shell case that you can get on Amazon that can be used with a variety of headsets. It was a little smaller and a little flatter, which meant I could carry it in a carry-on where I couldn't necessarily do that with the Marshmallow. So I wasn't walking through the airport dangling a headset with me.
You said, but I thought you said you decided to keep the Marshmallow. So why do you have two cases?
I didn't know you were going to ask me hard-hitting questions like this on the show.
Yeah.
It's, this will be a relic sometime. People won't completely understand it. And I've started actually using the Marshmallow. It's got one thing that's very nice, that the face shield slides and can lock it into the Marshmallow. The battery is Velcroed onto the top of the shell. So it's got a nice little ditty bag that you can put all the other stuff in, including lenses, that you don't get with these $30, $40 ones. But they work perfectly fine. And now you're seeing a lot of news about them in Discord. People are talking about buying these and which one works for them. And, they work for Meta, they do work for Apple Vision Pro. So.
Yeah. I was curious because there has been so much discussion, at least one of the big things I've heard is that you really have to protect the, well, I'm not sure since I don't have one, is it the screen or whatever, as far as, what you need to be using the cleaning cloths they give you. You don't want to develop those micro scratches. And so I didn't know if the Marshmallow gave it a little better protection than some of the other options out there.
Not really, not necessarily. The other option that I have doesn't have a movable lock on it, but you're also putting the soft cover on the front of the screen, and that gives you protection on both sides. When it's put into that space, I put the cleaning cloth in there over the lenses and then drop it in to the case that way.
Makes sense. Okay. Eric, when we left you were negotiating with friends and contemplating whether the Vision Pro would stay or whether it would be returned. What's your status?
Yeah, so we did the Wisconsin solution. We formed a co-op. Got 3 of us together. Each of us now own a third, and we're negotiating for weeks. And I think it will actually work out fairly well, because I think what will happen is we'll each be able to share it for about 3 or 4 months, and then at least one of us will want one all to themselves, and then we'll just trade off and add people to the co-op as more units get purchased and so on. But that fixes the whole problem of a really expensive device that doesn't really do everything yet. It's not functional enough that I can replace like an iPad. I need to use it with an iPad and with a laptop or a mini or something, and so it just ended up being extra expensive. Now, I will say it did get me to buy a phone, and I said I wasn't going to buy a phone until the 16 came out, but I wanted to go and take pictures that had depth, and I needed the 15 for that. And I didn't want to have to wait for the 16 because I want to go on vacation in June. So I bought a phone. So Apple managed to sell me a phone and a third of an Apple Vision. And so far, the sharing's going okay. We walked through the update today. I still can kind of test stuff. I talk to whoever has it at the time and say, hey, load this image. Tell me what it looks like. Turn around. Tell me if there are any defects. Okay, fine. And then they go off and try their stuff. And then we sort of share different things. Like the person who has it now has switched eye control over to just one eye. I figured out when I had it how to turn it into grayscale mode. And then if you do screen mirroring, the mirrored screen is in color. So I can watch it in grayscale mode, and the person watching what I'm watching is seeing it in color, which is kind of cool. And, so I could do a presentation and they don't see it in black and white. So that was fun. So we've done both. We've done the wipe it, hand it to somebody, and then they set up their account on it. And we've also done the have one account and then just hand it off back and forth. And at the moment, that kind of works for the times when somebody just wants to experiment a little bit. It doesn't seem to screw things up. There seems to be enough of a settings difference when I put my lenses in that it can kind of figure some things out, except for the person who needs to turn one eyeball off. That's not So it's been interesting. I'm not sure if we're going to make it through a whole year or if it's just going to be a few months until somebody gets irritated and it says that they need more time. I figure something. Yeah.
Mark is back. He's fighting some microphone issues, so we'll have to bear with him. Eric, given the experience you have between multiple users, do you see this as as what you're trying to do, realistic for, say, a small family to be able to pass it around back and forth, and forget the idea of fighting over who's going to get it, but more the user interaction, usability of it?
I think that the first thing people will try is not constantly changing whose account is on it. And it'll be kind of like how a lot of people use Apple TVs where they put one person in it. The real question is, are there enough differences in vision and so on that the settings are too different? I think Apple really doesn't want you to do what we're doing. In our case, we're going far enough that we're getting at least 2 or 3 different light shields. We'll have 2 or 3 different lens configurations. We've got one person that's got a small dual band that she uses. The other one is like a medium one. So far, it's kind of working. I don't think that's a long-term thing. It's working now because it's just convenient. Because I keep wanting to test stuff, and I don't want to have to go pick it up, reset everything, and so on. It's easier for me to just say, "Yeah, here it is. Go watch whatever movies you want to watch. Bring it back a little bit later." Most of the other people in our group are interested in watching TV shows and movies, and doing it in a way that's immersive without having to go into a theater. One person has, another family member that has some immunity issues, so going out to a theater is probably not a good idea. This lets them not have to do that. Now, in that particular case, they hadn't thought about whether or not they needed lens adapters for everybody. So she didn't, but he does. And he hadn't ordered them yet. So they're working on that part. Unfortunately, there's not like a really cheap solution for that, at least that I haven't seen yet. I'm not sure you can get away with just wearing glasses and kind of holding it. I don't think that's the same experience. I think you just get a headache.
Anybody else on the panel? First of all, any questions for the 2 Vision Pro owners? But more importantly, have any of you had done the demo or had any experiences or seen something that was really? Have you seen anything that was really compelling on the web? Anybody's reviews or demos that really you felt might sway you one direction or another?
Chuck, I did the demo.
Oh, okay.
And
wait, I thought
even if you're not
you couldn't do the demo. I thought you couldn't do the demo because of the prism.
Well, yeah, funny that. what I had to do to actually get through the screening process to have an appointment scheduled, I had to lie. So I just when you get to the part of the online form where it asks about your prescription, it goes through several questions, and then the last one is about prism values and I think what something else that would disqualify you. And so when I said yes, I have a prism value, it immediately just killed the whole thing and gave me a dialogue that asked me to confirm that I was canceling my appointment. So instead, I clicked cancel, which takes you back to where you start the questionnaire part again. And when I got to the end, and I get to the prism value part, I just clicked no, and I thought, well, we'll see what happens. So when I got in, they scanned my glasses, went and found lenses that were close enough to my prescription so that I could do the thing. And I had a great experience. I had some minor tracking issues, which might be related to my prescription, but I think it's more likely that they're running you through the whole demo in guest mode. And guest mode doesn't do as precise a calibration for your eyes as when you're the regular owner. So even still, I had almost no trouble with it at all. But it was a great experience. Even if you're not planning on getting a Vision Pro, I'd recommend, if you have an Apple store within reasonable distance, go do the demo because it's a really great experience. And it's Apple. They've got this down to where it's just like this fine-tuned script that they take you through. And you get to experience all the stuff that you need to be able to get a feel for what it is and to learn how to actually use it. And it was a great experience.
I mean, Jeff, given the fact that you can't have it as precise as maybe someone who doesn't have a prism value prescription. I mean, how did you feel about it as a tool for you?
I can see where this could be a useful tool for me, just not today. But I could see where I could use this, like if I'm doing a lot of research, and there are times, even with this 34-inch wide screen, where it's too small, and I could see myself having multiple Safari windows open, spread all around me while I'm working and doing research, and being able to have a much more efficient interface space. So yeah, I can see where at some point this could be a really useful tool for me. Today, though, there's not enough of the tools that I need on a daily basis that are really there. And yes, I could do the thing where I mirror my screen from my MacBook Pro and work with that and then have the Vision Pro apps around it. But it's for the amount of money that it would cost for me to get into it today, especially considering I'd have to have prescription lenses on top of that. I wouldn't get enough value back out of it today to get one. But I can see that there's a time coming when this could be a really, really useful tool for me.
Mark, you had a question for Jeff.
Yes. So I guess first off, how's my audio now?
Oh, you sound way better. You sound like
great.
you.
Yeah.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. I guess I haven't rebooted my Mac in 38 days, so I guess something went wonky somewhere. So anyway, Jeff, you mentioned that you speculated that the guest mode setting wasn't as precise as the actual owner setting. So I was wondering if you could tell us more. And I was wondering, is that to shorten the time of setup so that Apple can accelerate people going through the setup experience, or that owners like Marty can, or Eric can, make it, quick and easy for other people to try and experience it, without going through a time-consuming calibration personalization process?
Short answer, yes. The slightly longer answer, yes. When you do guest mode, you're doing a shortened version of the calibration, and that way people can get in and use it quicker. And then when it's time to switch back to you, then it just repositions everything inside back for your setup. But yeah, since it's spending less time taking you through the whole calibration, which was really do this, put the thing on all the way, and look here, tap, and you're done. That is the whole setup in guest mode, and it's good enough. But if I were using it all the time as my own device, I would want to take the time to go through the longer setup process, so that that the occasional issue that I had, which would be I've got the home view up, and I go to tap and do this to launch, say, photos, and it launched Safari instead, or whatever was right beside it. That happened a couple times. I have a feeling that that's the real problem that I had, and it wasn't so much the fact that I need a prism value to be able to see properly. So,
okay. And also the other follow-up question, you said that you could see it would have value in the future. So, and then you also talked about apps. So value in the future, is that more apps coming out, or is this device coming out at what's expected to be a lower price point for a Gen 2 device?
It's about the apps for me. I have a feeling that the way the functionality is, it doesn't matter if it's the version 1 or the version 2 for my needs. It's all about the rest of the ecosystem coming together.
Great to hear. Good luck.
Oh, thank you. My credit card is hearing you say good luck as well.
Make sure you get some bonus or some miles out of it, Jeff.
Well, it would go on the Apple Card.
3% off.
Oh yeah,
3% off on Apple Card, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay.
That's what it's $100 rebate. That's almost a set of lenses.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. If they could make Jeff's lenses.
Well, I've already figured this out. Because I'll need to get a new prescription anyhow, because mine's expired. So when I go to my ophthalmologist and they do my prescription, I will tell them, please write a separate prescription just so I can have Vision Pro lenses without the prism value in it. And my ophthalmologist totally gets that this is a thing, and she'll be like, no problem. Here's your regular prescription. Here's your special prescription. And that's the one that Zeiss will get.
And come back and show it to me if you get one.
And right. I'm sure that would be part of the deal.
Yeah. I'm sure that's the same prescription that Jeff's pharmacist fills. Here's the regular prescription. Here's the special prescription.
Oh my God. It's like you've been there with me.
You better call Saul.
This is the special Colorado only prescription.
Or California. Hey, California too,
Interesting thing about the Zeiss lenses, if you have progressive lenses like I do, they will actually make the lenses for progressive. So it's not like you have to go in with a single vision prescription, which would not be a problem for my doctor to write for me. But I just think that's kind of cool that they will actually accommodate your progressive lenses.
It makes sense. It's a premium optical company and a premium product company. So, of course, you would expect, if you think about it, that they would support progressive lenses.
Well, and it totally makes sense. But at the same time, I was surprised because what you're looking at in Vision Pro, it's all a fixed focal length because it's a screen in front of your face. And so when I'm sitting here at my desk, I'm actually using single vision glasses. So I don't have to do this all the time. And so I assumed looking at the displays in Vision Pro would be the same way, but it turns out no, it's not. And the surprising thing for me to go along with that is with the lenses that weren't quite right for me, and they were a single vision lens, the demo lenses. When I was doing the pass through thing, everything in the distance was out of focus. And I was not expecting that. I figured because it's actually cameras getting the image and displaying it for me, it would display those images focused, and it did not. And that is a artifact of me not having the right prescription when I was doing the demo.
The updates from the Apple Vision Pro owners on the MacVoices Live panel, as well as some of the rest of the panel, continue next time on MacVoices. I'm Chuck Joyner. I'll see you then. As always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.